Hello and welcome to Mr. Walton's physics lessons. In today's lesson we'll be looking at the required practical for measuring the density of materials from the particle model of matter topic of GCSE Combined Science and GCSE Physics. By the end of the lesson you should be able to measure the mass and volume of materials in order to calculate their density and complete the required practical investigating density of regular and irregular shaped objects. You should remember that density is defined as the mass per unit volume of a substance. It is calculated using the formula, density equals mass divided by volume, where mass is measured in grams or kilograms, volume is measured in meters cubed or centimeters cubed, and the density is measured in kilograms per meter cubed, or grams per centimeter cubed. The first part of this investigation is to measure the density of regular-shaped objects, like cubes, cuboids, spheres, etc. The first task is to measure the mass of the object, in this case a cube, using a top-pan balance. Next, we need to measure the volume of the cube. To do this we use a 30 cm rule or a meter rule to measure the length of the block. Measure the width of the block. Then, measure the height of the block. To calculate the volume of the block, multiply the length, width, and height. To calculate the density of the block, put your values for mass and volume into the formula, density equals mass divided by volume. Finally, repeat these steps for different materials. Before we move on to the next investigation, let's try an example question. A wooden block has a volume of 0.027 meters cubed and a mass of 13.5 kilograms. Calculate its density. Pause the lesson and restart when you're ready. So the formula is density equals mass divided by volume. 13.5 divided by 0.027, which gives a density of 500 kilograms per meter cubed. The next part of this investigation is to measure the density of irregular-shaped objects, like rocks and stones. The first task is to measure the mass of the object, in this case a key, using a top-pan balance. Then pour out a measured amount of water, for example, 20 milliliters, into a measuring cylinder. Carefully place the object into the measuring cylinder, trying not to splash the water. Record the new volume. To find the volume of the object, subtract the original volume of water from the new volume. To calculate the density of the object, put your values for mass and volume into the formula, density equals mass divided by volume. Finally, repeat these steps for different materials. The third and final part of this investigation is to measure the density of liquids. The first task is to measure the mass of an empty measuring cylinder, using a top-pan balance. Add a certain volume of the liquid to the measuring cylinder. 1 milliliter is equal to 1 centimeter cubed, so in this case 25 milliliters gives a volume of 25 centimeters cubed of the liquid. Next, measure the new mass of the measuring cylinder with the liquid. Find the mass of the liquid by subtracting the mass of the measuring cylinder from the combined mass of the liquid and measuring cylinder. To calculate the density of the object, put your values for mass and volume into the formula, density equals mass divided by volume. Finally, repeat these steps for different liquids. You should now know how to measure the mass and volume of materials in order to calculate their density and complete the required practical investigating density of regular and irregular shaped objects. If you found this lesson useful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to see future lessons. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next lesson.